Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Witten and Andy Fenton on Fridays. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chats. Marvellous Monday. Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are. If you think it's Get Rich Quick, you're in the wrong place. This is the wrong podcast. This is the wrong live for you. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Hope you're all awesome and well. Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats. Marvellous Monday, November 4th. I hope you're well, wherever you are, whatever you're up to. A few of the early birds here already, which is always good to see. Oh, need to change my Halloween. Need to change my Halloween graphics. back to something normal. Anyway, I don't know how to do that. The font. There we go. Default. There we go. Let's see. All right. Let's see if we're back to regular. There we go. Kevin, morning, mate. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Hey, Sonia. You're in the house, which is awesome. Fantastic. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining as always. Good to see a few of the regular crew in as well. Luke's there. And Chris, awesome to see you. Pretty sure I said hello to you, Jeff, didn't I? Jeff? How are you, mate? Good to see you. Hey, thanks for joining today, folks. Hope you're well. For those who might be new, well, let's just do a quick intro and then we'll get on with our conversation today. I want to talk to you about, doing some reflection of what I've learned in the last 25 years as a coach of wealth, predominantly around real estate, but these days help in wealth creation when it comes to business, real estate investing, creating structures, understanding a few things when it comes to your money and your future. Jason Witten's my name if you don't already know. Now you do. If you're new, good to have you here. Fantastic to have you along, and thanks for joining. Hey, listen, tell you a quick little story. I've been coaching Australians and New Zealanders, Kiwis, Aussies and Kiwis about property wealth and really wealth in general for 25 years. Many years ago, started out as a property investor myself, 1 or 2 deals under the belt, read a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and went on to buy a few deals. Went on to buy a lot of deals, actually. Bought over 100 properties, owned over 100 properties just prior to the GFC. I don't know if anyone remembers the GFC, but it really put the skids on my world. I was getting heavily into property developing in 2007, 2008. Borrowed a lot of money, tens of millions, tens of millions. And along came the GFC. And many of my developments went sideways and went down. I was in the middle of constructing over 100 properties. The finance on those properties and the valuation of those properties dropped. I got some margin calls on my loans. I couldn't pay back the debts. It was a pretty tough time, pretty shithouse time, actually. Learnt a lot of things from those experiences. Learnt a heck of a lot, actually. Pretty well lost every single thing other than my own home in that moment. And took a few years to lick my wounds and work out what I'd learned about those things, folks. But what do they say? They say success is a poor teacher, and failure, if you pay attention, teaches you a lot more. So, over that, following 14 years since 2010, really, I've been rebuilding my wealth and my portfolio. And today, it's pretty good. I reckon it's pretty solid. Doesn't mean that something that might go wrong, always planning around things going wrong and making sure what we do. But I thought I would share today the 7 biggest financial mistakes that I've noticed, also made myself, and noticed many Aussies and Kiwis continue to make to this day and age. Now, I've sat down with, call it 5,000, like thousands and thousands and thousands of individuals across the desk, and talk to them about their wealth and their goals and their dreams and, their financial positions. And these are the 7 big things that I realize that I call them financial mistakes that most Aussies make, and they regret into the future that they didn't learn or do a few things in the past. And thought I'd share those with you today. So let's dive into it, team. Number one thing, and maybe if you want to play around in the chat, what do you reckon if you're listening in at home? What do you see? The 7 big things that most Aussies, Kiwis don't understand about wealth, and the biggest financial mistakes they make in their lives. Well, let's dive into that today. In my opinion, in my experienced opinion, sitting down with thousands and thousands of people across the desk. Number one, a lack of understanding debt. No debt knowledge, right? Debt knowledge. Now, we need to understand debt. Now, there's 2 types of debt. There's good debt and there's bad debt, right? There's so much misinformation out there in the world of the Australian financial market. A lot of young Australians go to university and come out of university immediately with massive amounts of debt, which affects their borrowing power. High interest debt, credit cards, car loans, HEX debt, personal loans, for furniture, all of those sorts of things, cosmetic surgery, like all this stuff, like you wouldn't believe it. One of the most popular credit cards a while ago, it's probably sort of 5-8 years ago, was the GE credit card, which was a $20,000 credit card where you could get, which you could get for having, stuff done to you, body augmentation. Interesting. Anyway, number one, the biggest issue, hands down, is not understanding debt. No debt knowledge, right? Debt knowledge. Every single one of us need to understand how debt works, what it's good for, what it's not good for, when to borrow, when not to borrow, et cetera, et cetera. Number one, debt knowledge. If you don't understand debt, you'll either avoid it when you should use it, or, you'll use it when you shouldn't, and it can really hold you back. So number one, debt knowledge. Number two, in Australia, understanding the most important things, the tax system. The tax system, right? Understand debt, understand the tax system. What do they say? What's the saying about What's the saying about tax? Put it in the chat for me, folks. There's a famous saying about taxes. Probably all around the world, right? There's a famous saying about taxes. And what do they say? It's inevitable. There's two things in life that are inevitable: death and taxes. Death and taxes. Well, folks, you know what? That is not totally true. Taxes can be minimized, and if you are smart, you can eliminate some taxes when it comes to the world of your investing. Understanding the tax system. Most of us get introduced to the tax system accidentally via getting our first job and then talking to mum and dad and go, "Oh, why did I just pay some tax?" Mum and dad go, "Well, that's the way it is. That's the way it is, son. Taxes, the bloody government, they just take the money. Anyway, ignore it. You cut nothing you can do about it." Bullshit. There is absolutely everything we do in life, especially when it comes to our money. There are rules. There are things we can do and understand the tax system. What's the tax system? GST mostly, land tax. You've got stamp duty. Okay, in our world, in our property investment world, you've got PAYG tax. Can you reduce that? Capital gains tax, CGT. Right? Can you reduce these taxes? Yes, you can. If you're smart and you understand the tax system, folks, understand how to use these things to your advantage. Debt, good debt, rather than bad debt, shit debt, and make you broke debt. The tax system, it is actually written in a way. If you navigate certain things and try and keep it as simple as possible, choose a few things that are really simple to understand. You don't have to know everything about everything. Find someone who does. Just so you know, you're probably looking at someone who might know a little bit more about the tax system than you, and that join our coaching and mentoring program. Point. You might invest 10 grand to get coached to save you $1 million in taxes in the future. It's a pretty good burn as far as I'm concerned. As we go along. Anyway, the tax system. Understand the tax system, folks. It's pretty important to understand the tax system. Third, I better get on with it today because I'll run out of time. Third, morning, Rodney. Good to see you, mate. Thanks for joining this morning. Third one, not understanding super. All right. Understand debt, understand taxes, understand super. What do you mean, Jason? Well, what's it good for? Put in the chat, what's super good for? It reminds me of this song. Absolutely nothing. I can't remember what that song is, but if anyone can remember what that song is, put it in the chat. Right. So super, understand what it's good for, folks. When you are 20 to 30, right? What's super good for? Ages 20 to, let's say, 40. What's it good for? Ages 40 to 60. What's it good for? Ages 60 to 80. What's it good for? Folks, there are 3 time frames that super is amazing at certain things. Amazing. Absolutely, unbelievably, mind-blowingly amazing at, right? You've got to understand what's it good for. These are the things. These are the financial mistakes. Not understanding debt, not understanding the tax system, not understanding super, right? That's a pretty important thing to understand. And fourth, all right, your principal place of residence, your PPR, your home, right? 4 big mistakes people make in the world of our wealth system, okay? These are significant things. You get these 4 even half right, even a little bit right. Morning, Andrew. Good to see you, mate. Thanks for joining. If you understand just a bit more than the regular person, you will be significantly rewarded in the future for wealth and understanding. Understand what the difference is: cross securitization, cross collateralization, an offset, a redraw facility, principal and interest only, right? When to use those, when not to use those, how to understand debt, right? Those sorts of things. PPR, your principal place of residence. It is one of the only assets that every single Aussie has access to. Cross-collateralized property. Exactly. When do you cross-collateralize? When shouldn't you cross-collateralize? An all monies clause, folks. The difference between commercial loans and residential loans, right? Debt's so bloody important. Nobody, well, not nobody, rich people who've got plenty of cash, even they still use good debt, needs debt. Everyone needs to understand debt. It's so important. It's so integral. Prince Place of Residence, right? What? Why? How do we get hold of one, right? What are all the grants? Where do we live? What do we do? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Prince Place Residence. It is so important. It is, on average, the latest statistics, there's $11 trillion. $11 trillion in the residential real estate market in Australia right now. 11 trillion, folks. $11 trillion. Approximately 65% of every individual's personal wealth in Australia is in which asset? Which asset? Folks, there's 4 asset classes, 4 big chunks of assets. Residential real estate, commercial real estate, the super, like the super system, right? Super investing, and the share market. Tell me, folks, where does 65% of every Australian's wealth sit in Australia? Put it in the chat for me, folks. 65% of every single Aussie's wealth sits in their home, their principal place of residence. And most people don't even understand how to use it for wealth. What is it good for? What's a resi real estate? Exactly, Chris. What is it good for? It's good for something. I don't know why that song's in my head today. Anyway, Monday, bit excited. Resi real estate, folks. Residential real estate, right? Do you understand residential real estate? Do you understand what's good about your owner occupier? If you want to become wealthier, one of the easiest ways to double your wealth in your future, if you want a wealthier retirement, folks, what's the number one easy way to double your wealth in retirement? I can tell you right now, right, is upgrade your principal place of residence. Now, a couple of ways to upgrade your principal place of residence. Highest and best use, right? So highest and best use, HBU, highest and best use in situ. I've got a very good mate of mine. He'd done well, and he said, listen, what should we do? And I said, well, let's have a look at your portfolio. And I said, let's have a look at your principal place of residence. If we added value to your home, what would be the uplift? And we did the math. He lives in a pretty fancy place. He bought the property for just over $1 million. He renovated it pretty significantly for $1 million. The valuation came in at $4.2 million. In situ, right? Highest and best use. Added extra bathrooms, added extra bedrooms, et cetera, another garage, et cetera. Highest and best use. Or you move to a better suburb. Better suburb. Move to a better suburb, folks. Move. All right. How do you create wealth? What is the mistake? Most people don't understand their home is over 60% of their wealth in the future. Get it right. Get it right. Okay. Get that damn thing right, folks. All right. Okay. We're on the home stretch. We've got the 4. Let's get the last 3 done. Okay. As we go along. All right. So, number 5, no financial plan. No financial plan. Most people have got no financial plan. No idea. No, what do you mean a financial plan? Now, yes, I think a good financial planner is absolutely essential. And if you're into real estate, then you need a real estate investment coach. That's what we do, Positive, what we've done forever and a day. If that's your predominant investing vehicle, then don't let the financial planner tell you how to buy real estate. Get them to help you structure your financial situation. A good one, anyway, who likes real estate. Because, folks, 65% of everyone's wealth in Australia is in real estate. And they say, oh, you've got to diversify and reduce it. Bullshit. Anyway, complete absolute rubbish. Get good at an investment vehicle like real estate and understand it. Anyway, financial plan. Okay, understand your financial plan. What does a financial plan include? It's really important to understand insurances. Insurances, folks. Listen, get insured for your debts and your family, and be safe. Okay, insurance, and sometimes you can use your super to pay for insurance and all sorts of stuff. Insurance, all right, understand insurances, all right, as you go along, and understand how to, set up, buffers, budgets, et cetera, et cetera. A wealth plan as you go along. All right, number 6. Understand that you've got to, in our world, invest. All right, investing. You cannot, or not investing. Okay, not investing, folks. You cannot save yourself wealthy. Depends on what your definition of wealth is, I suppose. Yes, you should have savings. Yes, you should have a buffer for emergencies. Yes, you should have some liquid cash and capital. Control the cash. Number one rule. Control the cash. Yes, you should have money set aside for emergencies and other things, but not investing. It is a disaster. It's a financial disaster, folks. You've got capacity. You've got the ability. No financial plan, especially around insurances and buffers and budgets, right? But then not investing. You've got all this capacity, unwasted investing capacity, psychologically, emotionally, mentally, financially, not invested, all right? And you don't have to take risks when it comes to investing. What do they say? If you don't take big risks, you don't get big gains. Bullshit. What a crock of shit that is, right? Just invest in simple things like good real estate, maybe a good share portfolio, which is in indexes, right? Indexes, like the Vanguard has outperformed every friggin' broker on the planet, for the last 50 years, etc. Anyway, not financial advice, by the way, just an observation. All right, last but not least, what is the number one financial disaster? Folks, put it in the chat for me. I always put this in here because it's true. What's the number one financial disaster in Australia today? Number one financial disaster in Australia today. Does anyone know what it is? Whack it in the chat for me. What's the number one financial disaster? I've said this a few times. Sometimes it's a little bit racy, this one, but it's a fact. So I'll just give it to you fair and square, as you go along. Number one financial disaster, doing nothing. That's true, actually, Luke, if you don't do anything. But even if you do nothing, this thing can happen to you as well, and it's even worse. What is it? Does anyone know? No one wants to play today? Doing nothing. Divorce. Kids. Yeah, so true, Danny. Those little bastards. Gee, they're expensive, I tell you. Yep. The kids. Yep. Yeah. That's true, actually. Chris, you just pay your PPR off and that's it. That doesn't help. Folks, this is the number one financial disaster. Unfortunately, I've experienced thousands and thousands of times sitting out with people and saying, all right, well, how come you lost everything? Well, I went through a divorce. Now, I'm not a bloody relationship expert, I can tell you that. But here's the drill. Talk to your partner about money. Get on the same page about money and wealth. Make a plan together, folks. All right. I've seen divorce destroy wealth unnecessarily, unfortunately, sadly. But that's the thing. Anyway, there you go. There's the thing. The 7 biggest financial mistakes and issues I've seen people make for the last 25 years. Not understanding debt, not understanding the tax system, not understanding super, right? Yep, they do, Melissa. Yep, you're right. Like I said, I'm not a relationship expert. It's just what I observe when it comes to money and wealth. Not understanding what your principal place of residence is really good for, right? It can create significant wealth, folks, as you go, right? Not having a financial plan. Now, it doesn't mean you go to a financial planner and they say, oh, yeah, just get life insurance and then that's it. But no. A financial plan is way more than that. Not investing. Like I always say to people, if you've got all your safety systems in place, if you can, you should. If you can, you should, right? And relationships. Make sure you look after them. To be honest, invest in them, right? You want to invest in wealth in the future, health, invest in your health, invest in your relationships, and invest in your money. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, bit over time today, but hopefully that was of use. My observation over 25 years sitting down with a lot of people, trying to help them work out and navigate their future for wealth. Pretty important one to get right. Anyway, there you go, folks. Thanks for joining today. Wealth Coffee Chat's done and dusted. Join me tomorrow. We'll have another one. As always, if you have, anything that you see out there in the marketplace that is curious or interesting to you, hit us up in the chat. Always happy to do a Wealth Coffee Chat on those subjects or ideas. And until tomorrow, folks, remember, this thing's a bit of a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time to get this right. So make sure you put in a little bit of time and effort. Stay on track for your investing wealth. Anyway, there you go. Done and dusted. Thanks for joining us, folks. Good to see you. Take care. Bye for now. Wealth Coffee Chats, over and out. Thanks for watching another episode of Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications when we go live. Improve your portfolio and investing game, folks, with Wealth Coffee Chats live every morning at 8:10 each weekday. Make sure you join us.